My name is Amy Casperson. I am a middle school special education teacher. Even though I teach language arts, math, social studies, and science, I decided to do my final project for the Modern Learning Environment course on the American Revolution. This project takes on an existing unit plan and turns it into a virtual experience. And the introduction is just that. At the beginning of every unit, I like to have my students set up their interactive student notebooks, which usually takes 2 to 3 days. And for this particular unit, I also gave them the option to create a history pocketbook. And both videos are here that show the introduction, that show how to set it up, along with two books that are going to be used for this unit. And one of them is for the lower level reading students, and the other one is for the higher level reading students. In addition to having a setup for hard copies of the American Revolution Interactive Student Notebook, I also put in a digital interactive student notebook, along with a sample of mine right here. Okay, so lesson 1 focuses on the causes of the American Revolution. Lesson number 2 focuses on the leaders. Lesson 3, the battles, and lesson 4, the Declaration of Independence. On all of the pages of this are the same setup, in which you see the directions right here, along with the directions that go with the different interactive student notebook pages that must be filled out. Each of the lessons has 1 to 2 podcast videos, either created by me or that I found on YouTube. And these help the students better understand what they have read by giving them a familiar voice to listen to. And the next feature to see that I also have on some of the pages is additional videos, such as Schoolhouse Rock, which I know are dated, but the students really enjoy them, and they make learning the material fun and easy to remember, along with other videos that I found that reinforce what they have learned in this particular unit. Along with, on slide number 3, I put link to the series Liberty Kids, which is a cartoon that was created from the early 90s. And it basically is about the American Revolution. And it's a really good show. It's very detailed, and it really speaks to their particular level. And the difference between slide 3 and the other slide, lesson 3 and lesson 4 from the other lessons, is that on lesson 3 there is a quiz about the battles, in addition to a project that was created for the students to complete, which could be either completed digitally, or if they wanted to do it as a hard copy and present it to the class on colored paper, they can do that. And for slide number 4, there is a unit test, which is in a Google form. And the last major portion is the teacher page, which collects a lot of the research and the information that was learned throughout the semester that I have put into a Google Slides presentation. Okay, so first thing is the brain research. The 3-box model of memory. I focused on encoding laws, which is where memory is not stored because it never makes it out of short-term memory. And distractions, not paying attention, can be dealt with by allowing students to complete assignments at their own pace and to use repetition by playing the videos over and over again. Okay, for sense and meaning, sense is like the podcast instructional videos, and also for my students, once again, their reading levels are at a first grade to second grade, and a lot of times it's hard for them to concentrate and to fully remember everything that they've learned. So keeping explanations basic is key. Also using strong examples in the podcasts that have been created, along with podcasts that I have found that I felt needed to be put onto the page in order to help reinforce what the students are learning. And also for the students, for them to be able to create like their pages and their ISNs, showing like the direction that they want their learning to go really helps strike their interest and keep their interests alive throughout the lesson. And giving them videos, all right, the music videos, especially through Schoolhouse Rock, Liberty Kids, helps them to visualize and understand the content. And peer review helps the kids work on their social skills and be able to listen to each other, listening skills, and to be able to take criticism, especially since they are getting older and they are going to be going into high school very soon. Okay, so primacy and recency. So the opening of a lesson is always the primacy, closing is the recency. So for primacy, it would definitely be the presentations, the podcast videos, and using their interactive student notebooks, setting them up, opening to the pages and starting to take their notes. And recency would be what the students are able to do in their at the end of the lesson to reinforce what they have learned, like using the other videos that are on each page and watching an episode of the Liberty Kids, or even watching the music for Schoolhouse Rock. And also the project on slide number 3, or on lesson number 3, is near the end of the unit, just before the unit test. So information that is used in the project is always refreshed, especially for the test. So transfer, students engaging in their higher order thinking and questioning strategies, understanding the various terms that are used, and being able to analyze and understand the different roles that different people had in the American Revolution. And also the maps, using the maps that show the different battles when they were fought, how it affected the environment around them, and how it really caused the outcome of the war. Okay, and now for pedagogy. Okay, so we have the multiple intelligences and learning styles. So logical and mathematical, looking at the different dates of the war, figuring out how much time was between each battle, and how long it took for them to create the Declaration of Independence, when it was signed, how many years after the war ended, the number of soldiers that died from both sides. And visual is to see the videos, the podcasts, and their notebooks, the pages, all the colors, and also using different activities with using their 5 senses of different different people that had been in the war. And for musical, it could be the Liberty Kids theme song. It could even be the Schoolhouse Rock videos. And bodily kinesthetic is getting up and getting materials and setting up their ISN, and it becomes mechanical. And social interpersonal would be presenting, and solo interpersonal, completing the project independently, completing their interactive student notebook pages independently. Naturalist would be to discuss the different, like how the war affected the environment and how it affected animals' habitats. And auditory is just listening to the videos, listening to the songs. Okay, so SAMR, substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. So this would be like, the Google Meets, the digital versions of all the assignments. Using the Chromebook to complete the tasks, along with the Google Forms to ask and have the students answer their questions. The podcasts, which can encourage flipping classrooms. So, and also students who benefit from repetition definitely benefit from the podcasts. Okay, so TPAC, which is the content, technology, and pedagogy, is, like using the interactive notebook, maps, various stories, and also being visually perceptive and auditory perceptive. Technology would be like the podcasts, videos, the different links, even like the Google Forms for the battle quiz and the unit test. Also, if they were to work remotely, the different project would be created for them to do. And pedagogy, flipping the classroom so that it's the students teaching each other, teaching themselves. And then that way class time could be focused on watching Liberty Kids and, creating like a fun page in their notebooks. And handwritten notes might be outdated, but it's really, really good. Or I shouldn't say outdated, but it's old fashioned, for students to be able to work on their writing skills and know when to capitalize, when, punctuation. Okay, so Bloom's taxonomy, the teacher podcast helps the students to remember, understanding the causes of the American Revolution, and they're applying information to help them to complete a battle project and also to complete the quiz, to complete the unit test, and also to complete their interactive student notebook pages, analyzing the roles that different people played. And, looking at their peer review, being able to take the criticism of their classmates, being able to give criticism to their classmates without really hurting anybody's feelings. It's really good for like those social skills and for community-based skills, because they're going to be going into high school soon. And, also then they're going to be out in the world working. So, there's going to be people that are going to tell them, when they're doing something right or doing something wrong. So this is a great way for them to learn that. And once again, creating the notebook. Okay. Okay, and that is the end. And I will show the credits. Okay, thank you so much.